Welcome on Soldier Field. Ireland leading 25-8. Eddie, pretty incredible first half performance. We have been here before, a little bit like 2013, but what have they done well?
Well, they've done pretty much everything well. I suppose they've created the perfect storm against the All Blacks. First problem the All Blacks had, their lineups misfiring badly. It's cost them dearly. Their discipline is terrible. They've 7 penalties in the first half, particularly the first 20 minutes. The yellow card, Ireland cashed in with 12 points on the yellow card.
Yellow card?
Yeah, it's borderline red, so I think they were happy to get the yellow, but Ireland cashed in big time. Certainly Ireland have been very good in attack in terms of changing the strike point, mixing it up. They haven't any major line breaks, said Rob Kelly, not led to CJ Sanders' try, but they've actually held the ball well, and when they've kicked it, they've managed to get it back again, either by crowding out New Zealand or winning the line-out back. So New Zealand don't have any ball, they don't have any line-out, and their discipline's been wobbly. They're borderline another yellow card now if there's any more messing.
7-3 penalty.
Yeah, they really are. So you've got to see overall Ireland have New Zealand exactly what I want them. It's the perfect storm. You'd have to think if Ireland score next, a try, then I think you'd have to think the game is very winnable. Now if New Zealand score next, then it's back in the hopper for sure. But New Zealand haven't shown anything yet. The Irish defence has been outstanding in terms of keeping its shape, holding its patience, not making mistakes. In fact, the New Zealand defence has been poor at times. They've slipped off tackles unexpectedly. Conor Murray's try was getting beaten at pillar, that's schoolboy stuff, and certainly Ireland have choked them up a few times in contact. So all the moment, Ireland's done everything they need to do to win this game.
I should just say, if anyone has any questions, fire them into us on Facebook Live. We'll get through a few of those. I think one of the real questions is the variety. It's not just direct Ireland.
No.
Like where they take on passes, they go wide, and we're seeing forwards in those wide channels at times.
When we're going wide, we're using the dummy runners as well, and the New Zealand players, particularly the front rowers, are biting down those runners, and that's creating the corners. So, they look very vulnerable when we hold on to the ball and take them through phases, particularly on the reload when we get some width into the game. They're having to push into the corners again up ground. So I think at the moment our attack is perfect. It's keeping them off balance, it's holding on to possession and forcing them into errors in defence. You can't do any more than that.
Yeah, some of the things we talked about in our preview show are actually coming on through, especially that New Zealand line out. Ireland have gone after it, and not even gone after it, New Zealand have error after error. Denying them that access.
Yeah, New Zealand have had chances to get into the game in terms of winning line-out and building pressure, and they've lost the line-outs.
Yeah.
And that's hurt them an awful lot. As a consequence, they've had very little territory and very little possession. The other thing Ireland have done well is in the maul. Ireland line-out is rock steady. Devin Turner's the go-to guy whenever they want him, and New Zealand have struggled to contain the maul. It's a good maul, it's a good platform to drive off of, and Ireland are capable of running little wrinkles off that maul as well, so New Zealand can't completely buy in to stop it. So that's causing all sorts of problems as well.
They're shifting away, and it's that kind of technical accuracy we're seeing. In the defence, there's choke tackles from Henshaw and Standard. There's Jack McGrath ripping the ball out. Nice little mini techniques within a good structure, and the same in attack.
And at the moment, all that's feeding into Irish confidence. Ireland are what their lead at the moment of 17 points. It's not an accident. There was no gimmies. They've worked very hard. They've got their scores, and they've given New Zealand nothing. So that scoreline reflects the first half very well.
What's the big challenge now? Obviously in an amazing position again, like 2013.
I would say forget the scoreboard. Nil all, come out and do the exact same thing again. Make New Zealand come back and beat us if they're going to win. Don't do anything that gives them something soft. So as I said, defensively keep our shape, stay working. Let them carry the ball and just make the tackles. Don't get over ambitious at the ruck. Trust the system. When we have the ball, keep moving the strike point. Probably maybe as the game was on the second half, if we're underneath, to put the ball in behind them more, make New Zealand go back and risk running out of their own defensive third. They have to get a turnover, could be a try or a penalty, that could seal the game. So at some point here we're going to say, alright, we've been holding on to the ball, but maybe we now punch it in the corners a little bit more. New Zealand know they have to run out, expect them to run out and lock them in there, or maybe get a turnover.
Yeah, Johnny Sexton actually down after that Conor Murray throw. We have to hope that he gets through at least another 20 minutes.
It didn't look that hopeful, because his Achilles tendon seemed to be the problem when we got a close-up of it, but he kicked the convert and he ran back to the halfway line. He seems okay, maybe it's just something small. I think we need to keep him on the field for that reason. I think just at this stage, it's hard not to see New Zealand hit a purple patch here in the second half. It happens in every game. The other team get a chance to come back at you. If they hit that purple patch and we ride it out, we'll win the game. There's no question. Because their confidence will be rattled. I don't care. Everything they've tried so far hasn't come to much. So that purple patch will come at some point. If we ride it out, we'll win the game. if they get dividends out of it, it puts the game back in the hopper.
Yeah, 50% of their tries this year coming in those last 30 minutes. So it has been a big source for them. Like, it hasn't been absolutely perfect from Ireland. We saw New Zealand's unbelievable clinical edge with that try where was sacking a hole, it broke through the two centres. A bit uncharacteristic, Payne and Henshaw, they got a bit of...
They got the lines crossed and they're opened up, but you see, again, once they got in there, they took full dividends. Yeah. We're a little bit lucky the ball came off a head instead of a hand, but they will hurt you, as we said. We've been saying if they get chances, but they've had no chances by about one, and they've taken it. And again, Bolton Barrett's kicking is off. You know, he missed a very convertible try. If it comes down to a late penalty to win this, and Barrett's standing over the ball, you got to think he's not going to have it in him.
Yeah, or maybe Aaron Cruden off the bench. Those benches are going to be key. Obviously, we know about the New Zealand bench and how to use that, but Joe Schmidt has picked this impact bench. How important is it for those guys to deliver something maybe different and actually lift that tempo again?
Well, I think they'll just come in and try and do more of the same. They're not going to come in and do something different, but they'll bring more energy, you know, off the bench. They'll bring more intensity, and they'll keep that level of intensity we're playing at the moment right up there. It can't drop off. But they'll be the guys to keep it there coming off the bench, fresh legs.
Yeah, the New Zealand bench obviously packed with talent as well. A few early changes. Ireland lost Jordy Murphy, unfortunately. Such an innocuous incident. He's chasing the ball after.
Yeah, it didn't look good the way he was treated. So, but they've also lost Crotty in the middle of the field, and their midfield now could be vulnerable defensively. I think, you know, we might catch them out. I would think Payne and Henshaw could have some dividends there, even off a set play, because that midfield, defensive midfield New Zealand have online at the moment, I don't think is that rock steady.
Yeah.
You know, they're more of an attacking midfield than a defensive midfield.
Yeah, we're getting a few comments in, people praising Ireland's performance. Obviously they're getting very excited. I want to ask you about a few individuals. Rob Kearney is taking a lot of criticism, and again, when he's picked for this game, I think we all had our doubts, but he's exceptional.
Kearney's doing what he does well. He's supreme in the air, and he's been brilliant in the air. He's great on the ground. He's got quick feet. He's got a big left foot in him, and he's very experienced. This is a game where Kearney is not going to panic. He's just going to stay in the zone. He's been around the block a few times, and that's on a day like today. I think, you know, I thought this proves what we talked about yesterday, that Joe Schmidt was going for a team that was, you know, have confidence in itself and settled under pressure and not get too carried away. Like, they'll know at half time here, the game isn't won by any stretch.
Yeah.
But they're more than halfway there, even if it's only half time.
Yeah, we're getting lots of good individual performances. I think Donegal Ryan stepped up to Formula Evers, Toner, the two halfbacks. They've all been pretty good so far. It's been a really round performance. I want to ask you about the moment before the haka when they stood in the figure of 8. Does that maybe signify where Ireland were mentally to do something like that?
Yeah, I think they wanted to send out a message, you know, and it's an emotional part of it, but I think once they got that done, you could see the laser focus on the game then, and it was a nice gesture, and you know, it was great that they did that and they had the presence of mind to do it. But I think once the game now starts, they have that laser focus, they parked what they were doing, they got on with it, and at the moment Ireland are definitely in that space where they need to be the All Blacks. It's now up to the All Blacks to come back. You know, that's the real pressure for them now. All we need to do is keep doing what we're doing. Easier said than done, but we're doing everything right so far.
Yeah. If you're in the change room now as a coach, you know, players need a simple message. What's a simple message to us?
Keep doing what we're doing. Like, what got us through the first 40 minutes, we've got every aspect of our game. Rock solid. Our defence, our quality, our kicking game is good. And we will probably get another couple of line breaks the way we're playing. You know, we are eking out the odd line break. We don't need too many. So keep doing what you're doing. And above all, don't let our discipline slip. Our discipline's been superb. The New Zealand discipline's been awful, really awful. The first 20 minutes, they were off the charts on penalties. It was 6-1 at one stage. That kind of a stat will kill you in a test game. Now, they have a lot more questions to ask than we have. We've just got to stay where we are and keep doing what we're doing, because at the moment everything is falling right for us.
Yeah. Do we keep going after that maul, especially, you know, with the first shot?
Certainly when we get a strike distance, if we put that maul down there, they're going to have a big decision. If they don't pull it down, it's likely 3 points. Or we go back to the corner and build another maul. If they put too many people to stop it, we might run a wrinkle out the back. We just saw Murray is so dangerous off the back of the maul. He's going to be a problem for him. So yeah, the maul is going to be front and centre again, I think, particularly as the game goes on. I mean, they're struggling with that whole aspect of it.
Yeah. When do you start using those players off the bench? I mean, Gary Ringrose and Greg Harvey are uncapped, obviously, so you don't know how they're going to react in that environment. When do you start?
I don't think he'll put them on unless he has to. You know, to be honest, I think like where they are at the moment, I think he'd probably, if things are working well, he won't want to disrupt them. Like, who would you take off at the moment? Everyone is playing really well across the line.
Yeah.
I mean, like, excellent in defence. They've shepherded really well, and they've worked very hard. Their kick chase has been excellent. So if none of them tire, if someone really tires and is struggling, okay, he's going to have to. He won't want to do that unless he has to. And maybe 10 minutes to go if we're 3 scores up, then let's get there first.
Yeah, you mentioned that back three. I think it's functioning really well, and you almost have 3 full backs. Andrew Kimball's so good in the air that Simon you have the experience at 15 and Rock kind of also been really good. The backline's really functioning nicely as a unit.
Well, we've been very active part, and when we have made good passes, we've got dividends soft in the corners, and we've got good dividends by just taking contact out wide. We're trucking it up 15-20 metres, and then that means they have to track back. They can't reset their line. So that's why we're keeping the ball so well, because we haven't gone into too much traffic. We saw a couple of times there went into traffic. They are very aggressive at the breakdown. Probably over-aggressive. That's why they gave away penalties in the first half. They were over-aggressive at the breakdown.
Yeah, Ireland have been really clinical at that breakdown. We're seeing probably 2 men a lot of the time, and Ireland have been a side who often put 3 or 4 even into rough times, but it's 2. They're keeping men out, and that allows you to, I guess, paint a different picture.
And you can do that when you're winning collisions, because you're on the front foot, the ball is on a plate, and it's very hard for them to spoil it. If you start losing collisions, then you're going to have to resource that a bit more to keep it safe. But because our strike point is changing, we're getting better collisions, so we're winning. We're able to win the ruck quicker with less people. So it's like it's a chicken and an egg. The better your collision is, the quicker your ruck is, the less you need to win it. We've got to keep doing that.
What's your biggest concern so for this second half?
My biggest concern at the moment is that if New Zealand kind of find their form, because they've been way out of form, if the lineup starts to tick, they start to keep the ball and they score first. I think they score first, particularly if they get a try and it comes back to a 10-point game, then I think they'll start to feel that they just have to up their game. But they've got to go and do that now, and they haven't shown any signs of it yet. But I think there will be some response in the second half at some point.
A little bit early maybe to get excited about this?
I think a little bit early, but I mean, we'd have all taken this in spades if we got it yesterday. 17 points better at half time. But what's so good about this at the moment is that it's not that that New Zealand look like they're coming back. They have to change something to come back now. They look like a shadow of themselves. We look like we're playing well into our system. So they have to make the change in dynamic here, not us. We're not chasing anything. We're not trying to make anything new happen. Just got to keep doing what we're doing. They just have to make a change of some description and the momentum, and that's up to them.
Okay, well thanks very much, Eddie. The teams are getting set to come back out here. Ireland leading 25-8 at half time. We'll catch you after the game.